guest speaker, Mr. Pema.
Hello. Okay.
And hello, I request all the
Hello.
participants to mute the sound.
Yes. So, good afternoon, everybody, and so welcome here at this very much awaited time for a lot of SC appearance students, and so I feel really fortunate to have on this board. And you see, we have wonderful organizers, and then this is a great opportunity for both of us and to everyone. And surely, so today I will be counseling on a topic of management, and I don't really have to, uh, say much more about my background as Tom here already told about me. And so I'm really happy to join every one of you. And so namaste to everyone. And so let's kick it out. So yes, so I just don't have a slide for all of you, and I think the interactive is more better, and so that's why I don't have the slide. But then you see, I can just take more time with interactions and then make more effective as possible. And so when we talk about management, and I think many of you have may have decided, or someone in a very dilemma or in different situations, then you see we have this counseling, and then uh, maybe management, so at this time, yeah, when students get from the grad schools, they really feel confusions about wow, what to choose, what kind of streams they want to go on, and so it's really difficult for them. And then you say, I think I don't really have confusions that you have, needed for the stream to join. But then I talk about a little bit more about management, so I don't really want to stress on what management is. So I just really want to start with why management, right? So, for example, when we just get up from our bed, and so it's in our everyday life. So when you have lunch, or when you play with money, or everything. So when you, just before a dawn or dark, so everything is all about management. And but then this is a subject that's more about more about that is business, and it really teaches about the fundamental things that you can have later on when like cooperating with business, or maybe it can be a beneficial for your life ahead too. But then you see we have so when I was small, and a lot of guys you see we end up starting the whole night just before an exam, and so we don't have really the management skills, and that's really difficult situations, and that many student faces, and even I included. So so it's really difficult. And then we see at this point of when you take management, then yes, there's no guarantee that you can manage all these things, and it's not about managing the fact that we do all those things, right? But then it's all about the business, it's all about corporations, it's all about how the world works, and many things to go on. And then yes, so in order to choose management, so when you choose management, so how to get the best from management, right? So I just want to stress a little bit more about it. So students, uh, so in Nepal, when you choose when you get to management, then you will have 5 main subjects, and then you see you have 3 compulsory subjects in class 11, and then you have 3 main compulsory subjects in grade 12, and then you have 2 options. And 2 options, so Nepali is compulsory just in class 11, and then you don't have to take Nepali in grade 12. And then instead of Nepali, you can take marketing, and then you have the business mathematics. That's more about statistical and business foundation mathematics, right? And then you have English in grade 11, and then grade 12. And the other subject is the accountancy. So you have a principle of accountancy, one in grade 11, and then 12. So those 3 subjects that are very, it's a compulsory, and then you have left with 2 options. And 2 options that you're gonna choose is hotel management, and then you have travel and tourism, finance, and then business mathematics, or you can choose marketing, right? So I think when you choose marketing in grade 12, then you don't have to choose, you can choose another subject, and then you have a computer science. So these are the subjects that you can get to choose, and of course it really depends on the college. So what college you choose. So it depends on the college, and so normally most of them we have hotel management, travel and tourism, and then of course finance, then mathematics, and then computer science. So even you have a business story as well. Yes, so that's just finished with the, what kind of subject you can take in grade 11 and then grade 12. The most important thing is it's not about you know just taking a management and then just getting over to the management. It's not about getting really with the management when you pursue for plus two. It's more about a long-term goals. So what you want to do in your life. So it's really important, right? So many people says, passion, just follow your passion, and then everything will just go on, or just get in the way. And it's not 100% correct, because when you follow passion, so it's not something gonna work every time. See, we have different ups and downs, and then it really don't work. You see, if you have passions in playing cards, or if you have a passion listening only music, then there is no there's no any good choice that you can have left with your hand. And so it's really difficult at this situation. So the most important thing is that you have to choose the purpose. So you have to take a purpose, and if your purpose is something that is really connected with the management, or if you want to do so when you finish management, then you want to take with bank, or some financial institutions, more like manufacturing or service industries, or you just want to start by yourself. So this is the streams that you are here. And I think it's really beneficial if you want to if you want to connect with this subject. And I think it's really important to connect just from the very start of it. Start of your career, that's from plus two, and then plus two you go to your management, and then in bachelor's you just get to the leading up to bachelor in business administration or bachelor in business management, and then bachelor in information management. So there are a lot of degrees that you can hold. And even if you want to work as a auto or accountancy, then you can just after plus two you can get to CA or SCA, or so these are the things that you can pursue, right? So the most important thing is the purpose of your life. So if you really find a joy, if you really find happiness, if you really find purpose or meaningful with choosing management, then it's for all of you. Management is a path that you can that sets you to a very correct directions, correct directions, and then later on you can deal with all those things, right? And then so after studying plus two, then where you can pursue in your career. So it's really important, right? So your future career. So whether you want to be a independent worker, or whether you want to work on, or whether you want to climb a corporation ladder or something like that. So it's really important. And then so this plus two management so just lead up to different undergraduate degrees like bachelor in business administration. So that is the main thing. And we have business management, and then we have business studies, a little bit a little bit different names. But then I just touched those the point where there is different subjects, and there are some particular subjects in management and in business studies and in business administrations, but it really is something like a same. And you see, so there's no any confusions. There's no thing to get confused, or whether I want to choose administration, or whether I want to choose management, or whether I want to choose information, business stories. So it doesn't really mean. But the main thing is that so for the past years, in my experience, what I have witnessed is that there is a huge gap in practical, right? So that is the most important thing. There are more practical in bachelor in business administration than just bachelor in business studies. So that's really important that you have to take a note. And then after in BBA, then you can just choose different you can specialize in finance, you can specialize in accounting, and then you can specialize in international business, and then you can specialize in marketing, and there are a lot of things, and then that lead to different careers, financial analyst, investment banker, and then uh, there are a lot of things. You can work as different managers, poly managers, and then or even you can start by yourself. And so yes, you are set for those careers. And yes, it really is a good choice if you really find a purpose, create a really purpose, and it's a good choice. And then so I don't really have a big preparations or I mean I don't really have a very long presentation over there because I want to get your questions ahead, and I just want to interact with every one of you, and I just want to know how you feel, or so how you feel about uh, decisions that you are gonna create within 2 3 months or maybe in 1 month. So it's really important, and I'll stress on those. And I want to open the floor to every participant, to get your questions out of your mind, and just set your free, just set yourself as a free, and just feel independently, and then ask as much as you can, and I'm really glad to answer all those questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela. So I will request all the participants to raise a question in any language. You can talk in Tibetan as well, in Nepali or English, any language you can ask a question, which you feel more easy. Okay. So the platform is open for question sessions.
Hello.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So
Good
I want to
afternoon.
ask a question to Pemalamala, and we are
Yes.
very happy to know so many information about what is management and like how management is taught. And so I want to ask you a question that I'm thinking to pursue my further education in computer field, right? But I found two alternatives. I can either go through the management streams and from the science stream. So according to your perspective, what's the difference between this learning computer through management or through science?
Yeah, yes. So that's really great questions. And even I myself, as a small, you see, I have a very interesting computer, and then you see there are a lot of ups and downs. And so this is the most important, this is the most important intersections that you are facing at this moment. So when choosing a computer science through management or computer science through science, then I would absolutely, encourage you to join science. So that's really important. And you see, we have there are actually when you go to computer science, then what are you gonna do? That's really important, right? If you want to go to computer science, and then you want to just want to study about information technology, or then there are a lot of you see business management technology or something like that that deals with businesses. Then of course you can choose a management, and then you can have a foundations called you have accounting, and then you have economics. So that's very important. And then if you go to developer side, like if you want to be a software engineer, or you want to be a hardware engineer, or you want to be a front end or back end, or then you want to study data science, or then a lot of machine learning and these things, then I would say you can just get to science, right? So that's where you can get a little bit more advantage than those students who will be passing +2 and to join different institutions. And I find in universities like TU or KU and even PU. So in order to become a hardware engineering or mechanical engineering or something like like software engineering, you need a science, or you need a very strong mathematics, right? So that's really important that you join science. And then even if you have a very good background in like science and mathematics, and of course you can choose you can get over to management, and then you can have or science. You don't really have to like study a lot of subjects within science, but then you have it's business mathematics that is more about the fundamental numbers that deals with businesses, and that deals with more about statistical, right? But that is not much very interlinked with with the computer science. When you go to a software or more a very a deeper sense of in a computer program, then it's a little bit more hard for you, right? But then if you really wanted to go to like just building an app or something like that, then just getting over to management, it's okay. Yes, you can study computer science, and then in class 2 you get a very a foundations to computer, right? And even as myself, when I was in school, it was really hard that we just started our computer in class grade 8, and that's very minimal. And then in class grade 9 and 10 we don't really give much time to computer, and even our teacher as well. And then it was a very regret point, right? And then we don't even know things like HTMLs, flowchart, and these things. And then when you get to class 2 into management, and then even you don't choose computer science, and then in bachelor you see a lot of opportunities, and then you want to pursue in computer, then it's really difficult. So I think it's right. So I would say if you really want to like get into a data science or like artificial intelligence, machine learning, then of course just get over to science, and that's the place where you can now understand the realistic about more maths that's more fundamental to the computer science. And if you are going to pursue with technology that's more related to the management of businesses or a service or a system, then of course I would say you can join to class 2 as a management. But even if you have a good foundation, then of course you can choose computer science, and then you can just get over to different courses in computer in bachelor. Thank you.
Thank you for the recommendation.
No. Yes, so please, if you have any questions, please.
सेल्टर बोइजहरूले चाहिँ क्वेसन छ जस्तो छ, हात रेस गरेको छ, एकछिन सोधिदिनु होला है।
ए हुन्छ हुन्छ। No.
सेल्टर बोइज हिमा तेन्जिन को छ, यहाँ कुङ्गा चमाङहरू को छ, क्वेसन छ जस्तो छ नि, हात रेस गरेको छ हैन, सोधिदिनु है। जस्तो
Yes,
भाषामा
please feel free to join and be.
जस्तो भाषामा सोध्दा नि हुन्छ। अब इंग्लिश गाह्रो भएपछि नेपाली गाह्रो भए हाम्रै भाषा गाह्रो भए अब टिबेटनमा सोध्न सक्नुहुनेछ। धेरै क्वेसन सोध्नुस् है सबैजनाले है।
Yes, of course, I will be very happy. Yeah.
The management la course kandi yare.
Oh, management last ne ta chitang kina management nalo la course la desambala ta nalo la subject daw ki tolak ne keta jabaina. Tine grade 11 la tine chitang subject nga tine grade 12 subject nga che tine kongje nga che tenti kang le jira chukchik le tine compulsory subject sum tenti chitang Nepali ne English ne ti some accountancy the compulsory mang che wata di college pelje mang che wale insare tenti some the jira chuni le compulsory de English ti some to accountancy tine accountancy some to ta jira chukchik le ye tine Nepali chap to tine marketing na da do tine business stories yang timin tine mathematics or business mathematics ne this some the option de la ne de la chukchi la ne hotel management, travel and tourism, and then you have finance, and then you have finance, and then even I think marketing. There are some colleges that offer marketing in grade 11 too, right? And then in grade 12, then you can have even in grade 11 you can have a computer science, and then even in grade 12 you can have computer science and finance and marketing. So that is the some of the course that you can attend. Hello. So if you have any doubt, then of course doubt na tine the sung na tine Thomas Nyang de clear or repetition na jiku. Hello.
I have one question.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. What are the basic things to clear our doubt in terms of
Yes.
choosing the stream?
Yes.
Do you get it?
Jawad, can you please repeat the question?
Okay. What are the basic things to clear the doubt in terms of choosing the streams?
Oh.
Okay. So that's a great question, right? So I just started with just a manager, I just went up to the management topic, and then I didn't really thought about those things. And yes, of course, it's really important, right? So if you have a lot of doubt, or you have confusions and in dilemma, then yes, there are some basic things that I can recommend. So first of all, so I just told earlier, the most important thing is that you have to think in a very long term, right? So that is the most important thing. So you have a decisions. So there is whether it's a short term, and then there is a long term, right? So you have to think about a very long term, right? So you have to get the results in a very long term. And so just starting as a management, then you end up with a different thing. So that's not gonna work. So the first thing is that you have to be real clear about what your purpose is. So what do you want it to mean in your life, right? So where do you want to work? So what kind of things that makes you a little bit more happy, more creative, and more innovative, and that make you flexible, refreshed, or something you feel is purposeful, right? So there are a lot of purpose in life, and then you can just set out your doubt very clearly. So first think of in a very long term. So what am I gonna do after +2 and then bachelor's? So after bachelor's, where are I gonna work? So even if you decided to take like management in +2 and then in bachelor in business, and then you end up with uh, at different banks, and then you don't really feel like working in bank, and you don't like those jobs, then it's really hard to shift your career into a different section. So it's really difficult at this point, and then it's a very big pain point, right? So the first thing is, of course, you just think in a very long term. So what are you gonna do, and so how much can I if I study if I choose to study management, then how long can I go to, right? So how far can I go, right? So that's really important. And then yes, of course, and we have a our basic things like free, right? So that's really important. And I don't think management is not that expensive, right? But we have a lot of so in +2 it's like more of same to most of the college, but there are colleges where there is more expensive, and actually the subjects or courses are more like same, but then you have more practical things to do, and you have you get to interact with different peoples, and get to visit different industrial sectors and a lot of things like that, right? But actually the course within that course is like built like a SEM, right? So it's under HSCB, and so there's uh, Sounds like it sounds like when you choose management and then you end up a bachelor's in different field, then I don't really encourage you to join management. You have to think in a very long term, right? So it's really difficult at this stage. And of course, so the other best thing is that, when you choose a science, yes, the money is really important, right? So we need, or if you get a very good marks in your grade, or if you have any scholarships, then it's okay. But if you don't have, then science, for students like us, it will be really difficult at this stage. And then management, that's not it's not that much expensive. And then yes, of course, you can go from when you just get over to class two, you just study so hard, and then when you get bachelor's, so you just go on to work and as part time, and then you can attend your college. So there's a little bit more flexible, right? So you don't have to really think about the money side, right? And the other basic things is your family situation. That's also important, but I don't want you to stress on family situation, right? So at this moment when choosing subjects, just feel free, right? Just free yourself, and then just be independent. And so there will never get you into a regret point, right? So it's really important to be clear, visualize yourself where you want to end up within 10 years, or within 10 to 12 years, right? So there's a long term. And then of course, so that can help. So these basic things could help you actually figure out those things, right? So don't, and the other thing is that when you have friends and your friends want to take a science, and then you want to take management, and then your friend end up science, and your other friends end up with different subject, and then you feel like nervous, right? So you feel like, it's not going to work. I just chose management, and my friends, in a different career. So don't think about those things, right? Just believe yourself. Just don't follow up, right? Just this is a very critical situation that you choose your path, and you are just building a foundation to your career in your future life. So it's really important, right? Just so there are a lot of cases, right? Just friends ending up with friends recommendations, and then you end up with a very unlikely subject, and unlikely to succeed, and unlikely to pass each and everything. And then of course there are a lot of subjects that need a very specialized, and a very you have to get to master, and then PhD level. And even at that situations, you feel up uh, it's still not finished. So you have to clear about these things.
Okay, thank you
so much.
Thank you. Yes, so
Oh, next we have another question. Hello? Yes, in the chat box. It from the Suldim, okay? So what about the HSB scholarship?
what about the HSEB scholarship?
Yes.
Oh, so this is a little bit more actually I don't really have a so I'm really truthful about this, right? I have to be really truthful about this, because I don't really have a very exact recommendations that you can have at this point of level, and then you can get those scholarship, right? So I think it's not that relevant, or as truthful to my fact, right? I never tried those things because I was not that good student, right? And then you see, when you try to HSCD, you see you have entrance level examinations, and I think most of the college, they provide as scholarship on your grade marks, right? So that is the marks that depends on your SE results, right? So you have to have your marks, and then of course you have to give entrance examinations. And then if you score a huge marks, or if you score a very good marks in entrance examinations, then of course you can have a very good scholarship, right? And even actually in science students, so they get a really good thing about these things, and I just heard those things. But in management, you don't really get like 100% scholarship, but you get around like 50 or 75%, right? So sometimes even in different top college, you get even up to 80%. So that is the fact that I thought about these things, and I never tried these things because when I was in SLC, so I just got out of got out of Kathmandu, and then of course I went to village, and then at the time I was in a very confusion state, and then I never thought that I would be late. And so when I came back to Kathmandu to pursue my higher educations, and then I end up with a college, the last college that are just open for some few seats, right? So that's the reason why I joined Basha International College. So guys, I have I have suggestions. So when you choose +2 in management, just please prepare yourself, right? So this is your career point, and this is the start of your building foundations to your career. And so just prepare yourself and give your entrance at the best situations, by fully prepared, and then of course just choose the best college, right? So that's really important. I mean it's not about money, because you see there are not a huge gap, right? But then I don't recommend to you with a college such as like NAMI, where there is a foreign affiliated and there are a lot of facilities, and you see, so yes, of course, we have to understand these things, right? And then I think it's not that proper, and so there's no always a balance, right? But then there are a lot of colleges, right? So there are many different types of colleges. So you have to choose a very good college, right? Even in +2, just don't think about I want to choose at this situation, just those in a very lower colleges in terms of my budget. Then in bachelor, I want to do that or this, and then these things won't create you in an exact position, right? So you have to be very careful from the first point that you chose a good college. Even the courses are same, but you get to know, yes, there is a huge difference between the theoretical and practical, right? So in colleges where there is a small fee, so you get a very less amount of practical, right? And then in a college and there are a lot of a little bit more fee, then you get a little bit more teachers, and then you have this practical, and then the facilities that you have, right? They have the connections, right, to different industries, and they have the connection with different professionals, so that always try that always visit college, and in the weekend or weekend, and then share their thoughts, their ideas. So it's really important part at the situations, because you are building a foundation for them, right? So please, I'm really truthful about that, and I don't really have the exact, so where you can go to and then get exact scholarship, right? So yes, that is my point. Thank you.
So I request the
Hello.
participant, if you, hello, I request all the participants, if you don't want to speak, so you can send the question in the chat box also, chat box, so that on the behalf of you, I will ask.
There are two of student has raised the hand. Kunsang Puti and Purvalamo, please ask your question.
Okay, welcome.
Delay. And to be honest,
Oh.
I have never. Oh.
Oh, Laptang.
Yeah, to be honest, I have no more idea and knowledge about management. And my question is that what we can be in future after studying management.
So you're asking what you can become after studying management, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So actually, when you study management, it's not about how. So I just told you earlier, you have to be very clear about yourself, right, in the future or in career long ahead, right? So it's really important. And then when you just just finishing off with the management, then you see I don't see there is a good future, right? So you end up at the management, and then you end up with studying different subjects bachelor. So if you in management, in plus two management, you are just building a foundation, just a root foundations to build up your strength, to build up or gather more knowledge about your future career, right? But then this management, if you study management, then this management courses can lead to different degrees like bachelor in administration, and then bachelor in business management, bachelor in business studies, and then bachelor in business information, and then of course you can have computer application. If you take computer science, then you can have computer applications, and then there are a lot of subjects, or you can just get to economics, right? So there are a lot of subjects, and then you get to these degrees in undergraduate, right, in bachelor level, right? So when you when you decided to study plus in management, and then bachelor business, so you are just getting from the start to the end in a very in the same phase. So that's really right. So just don't make up, just starting plus two as a management, and then you just end up starting different university level. So that doesn't make sense, right? So you don't really have foundations. Even at this case in management, you really have to be good in accountancy, right? So that's really important, and then that's the an important foundations for your if you pursue a bachelor in business, then these are foundation things, right? And then you have the business that is called business mathematics. That's more about statistics, right? And then after start bachelor's, when you clear your bachelor, then you can work in bachelor. You can have different specializations, right? Then for 2 years, at least a 4-year course, and then you can have specializations in after 2 or 3 years. So that depends on different universities, and then you can end up with career, can pursue a career in investment banking, right? So you can be as an investment banker, and then you can become a financial analyst, and then you can have portfolio management, or you can have a even if you want to really interested in human resources, then of course this is a very a popular like popular course when you just get to the bachelor level in business, because human resource management, right, HR. So you can be there as a very a very good choice, a very good career that you can have. And then there are you can find as auditor, or auditing, and then you can uh, set up yourself as a business person, right? You can set up as a entrepreneurship, and just talk about when you talk about entrepreneur, just creating something new that's not in the market, or just getting a better way for the current existing system, right? Then you can have like create yourself, and you can build up next venture or next business. So that depends on you, right? And then you can, if you go to hotel management, then you can have, of course, in hospitality industry, there are a lot of jobs, like from catering to the from catering to the making of the food to the chefs, and you have those there are plenty of jobs, right? So you can fill up those areas. And then when you end up with if you study travel and tourism, and then of course this is the it's very good career choice. And especially in Nepal, we have a very what you call, we have a huge scope and huge possibilities, especially in like natural beauty as the Himalaya regions. And then it's a very good opportunities. And then we have been listed in different like popular is what you call the resource for the institutions. And then yes, of course, we are in a building a better road to the tourism, and we have opportunities. But you have but it's really important to think that you have to think as the overall as a Nepal, right? So it's really important to think about the overall situation, right? And then you can have like if you major in economics, then you can be an economist, right? You can become an economist. And then you can have if you take a finance as a specialized, then you can work in financial analyst, right? And then you can if you like major in marketing, then you can become a like marketing strategy analyst, or you can be a marketer. So there are, in marketing we have a huge scope, right? So at this point we have the marketing is just dealing or incorporating with technology. And then we have these different contents, social medias from Instagram to Facebook and everywhere on YouTube, and you see, so we have huge scope. And then content marketing is really important, and you can have a career in marketing. And then moreover, then of course you can start, and then yes, you can find as an investment business analyst, or you can as a convocate, or you can as a different agent for different private companies. So these are the fields that you can have if you study management, and then leading up to bachelor as a business. And then of course you can have this career, and then there are tons of careers that can be aligned with a bachelor in business, and that's more less important than what I just told you earlier.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes. And yes, if you have any questions, then please forward it. So I would clear it out. So these are the main, career prospect that you can have if you study management, and then leading off to bachelor as a business, and then of course then going to master, and or if you end up with bachelor, and then just joining a career. So there are huge choice.
Any question?
Oh, I charge is not going well, so I have to charge.
Yeah, question
Yes,
here.
please. So if you have any question, we will take 3 more questions from you.
Okay.
Then we will conclude the session, right?
यता रनकको र सेल्टरको होस्टेलको ग्रुपहरू दुईजना ग्रुप छन् अनि त्यहाँबाट केही क्वेसन छ भने सोध्नु है। यदि अलिकति क्वेसन सोध्न गाह्रो भएछ भने यो च्याटमा चाहिँ तपाईहरुले क्वेसन राख्न सक्नुहुन्छ अनि हाम्रो होस्टले चाहिँ क्वेसन उता हाम्रो रिसर्च पर्सनलाई सोधिदिनेछ भनेर आशा गर्दछु।
Yes, of course. Sure. So just get a really difficult situation this time, just finishing my charge.
Okay, I think none of our participants have questions, doubts. Okay, on the behalf of the
yes.
Okay,
If you have
on
questions,
the
then I'm really.
so on the behalf of the participant, I would like to question. I would like to ask one question. Okay, so regarding regarding the it's in our life, it's very important that we have this we have gone through this journey, class 11 and 12, right? So can you suggest the participant what we need to get prepared? You have told the basic foundation is very important for the future career, right? And you have said that exam in Nepal, right? So what kind of entrance exam are there, and from the student side, what they need to really what they should prepare for them?
Okay, sure. Yes, so actually, yes, so there are a lot of basic things that you have to prepare, and then yes, if you want to, if you choose management, then yes, actually it's not as hard as science or some other subjects, but then you see you have to get to entrance level examinations. That's for top tier colleges, right? So for that you have to be really so good in. You have to be prepared your maths, and then of course you have this accountancy. It's really compulsory for the accountancy, and then you have maths, right? And then yes, so and then you have a fundamental English, right? And then you have a fundamental Nepali. So these four subjects are really important that you have to be really prepared when you choose management, right? But then other than that, you don't really have like a kind of science or something like that. But there are some other like general questions. And then yes, so that's more depend on your creativity, and then your thinking capability, and so how you present yourself, right? So like free writing and a lot of things like that, right? But then if you yes, you don't have to get to science or things like that, but the most important thing is that you have to just get with your maths and then accountancy, and then you have to prepare English, right? So I think I hope everyone is already prepared, and I don't think it's not that very difficult at this time. When you just finish your SE because you're fresh, then you know a lot about the fundamental things about maths and right. So this thing is really crucial. So I think you don't you really need to get into the science. Or other than that, it's better you prepare all those subjects fully, and then yes, you if you score a good marks, then you can get a scholarship, and so maybe more open possibilities on these things, right? So these are the things that students can prepare before joining management.
Thank you so much. And then before we come to the before we conclude the session, and I would like to say to the Pema that do you have any message to our brothers and sisters? Yes, sir.
Okay, surely.
Yes.
So I think
Any
I'm
message?
yes. I think I'm taking too much time, right? Because I was
It's okay.
get
It's
used to
okay.
it, and feel a little bit difficult at time. Like just concluding. So okay, I'll just give a very short, and then yes. So every SCA students, you see I just told you earlier, it's about thinking in the long term, right? So mainly it is the exponential mindset. So you have your mindset, right? There is an exponential mindset and they have an incremental mindset, right? So exponential mindset is just, just dealing with yourself and, getting over into a different things, right? Into a different sections. And so you are fully prepared, even if you are not prepared, you are, getting into very difficult things, and you are accepting challenge, and you are getting out of your comfort getting out of your comfort box, right? So that's really important, right? And then you have these things called incremental mindset, right? Then if you go with the incremental mindset in it, that's not bad, but there's also a good thing, right? Because so in incremental mindset, because you go with uh, just getting more better, or just getting better over the current system, just existing systems, or you want to improve yourself and getting to the next level, right? And so actually these two parts are really important, right? And so you have to think like that, right? Just don't choose your management, or just don't choose your subject as you think your friends are choosing those things, and I want to do that, and I don't want to be divided with my friends. So that is the worst things that you are doing, right? So you can do that, right? Just believe yourself and just think of yourself and just visualize yourself within the next 10 years, right? So really, it's not that long. You see, you end up 2 years in management, and then 1 year in GAF, and then 3 years, and you have 4 years, and then you see you have already passed 7 years, right? So I think, so where you end up, it's really important. Just visualize yourself. So what you think will work if you pursue something that you can see in those things, right? So it's really important. And so yes, of course, don't think as a short term, right? So don't think like management is just an easy subject, and I want to go over management, and then I can pass all those management, I can pass my high school, and then I want to go to another profile. So that is absolutely wrong to take this kind of decision, right? Just think about, just live yourself, right? And then visualize yourself, and just clear all of your doubts, and then you see, just think about the long term, right? If you want to become a businessman, yes, of course you can end up with starting management that can build you foundations, and of course you can have a more advantages over it, right? And then even if you don't want to be a business person, right, there are a lot of things you see. Even if you take a +2 as management, and you study a bachelor's field, and you work for if you want to climb a corporation ladder or something, if you want to be an investment banker or financial insurance, or if you want to work different microfinance, then of course you have these things, right? So it's really important.
Thank you so much. Now I'd like to request the Nimatundu to say something on today's session.
Okay.
ल म चाहिँ इङ्ग्लिसमा धेरै खतरा भएर चाहिँ नेपाली बोल्ने कोसिस गर्छु
It's
है।
okay, it's okay.
अनि के भन्न चाहन्छु भन्दाखेरि एकदम आजको उहाँको प्रेजेन्टेसन अब लाजवाब छ भन्दा हुन्छ हैन। नर्मली मेरो इङ्ग्लिस चाहिँ खत्तमै छ के, त्यसको कारणले उहाँको आजको इङ्ग्लिस सुन्दाखेरि मलाई एकदम इम्प्रेस, पहिल्यै म इम्प्रेस नै थियो होइन, तर पनि आज झन् लाइभमा देख्दाखेरि एकदम खुसी लाग्यो कि आफ्नो ठाउँको एकजना मान्छेले यति फ्लुएन्टली बोलिरहेछ कि अब हुन्छ नि अब उतैतिरको मान्छे बोले जस्तो फिल भयो कि एकदम गर्व लाग्यो। त्यसको लागि विशेष धन्यवाद छ त्यसको माथि। अनि अरू आज एकदम प्रेजेन्टेसन भन्ने कि अब उहाँको काउन्सिलिङ भन्ने एकदम राम्रो गर्नुभयो। हाम्रो स्टुडेन्टहरूले अवश्य पनि बुझेको हुनुपर्छ। अनि लास्टमा म चाहिँ एउटा सानो डाउट भन्नु पर्यो कि क्वेसन सोध्न चाहन्छु। विशेष गरी अब नेपालमा म्यानेजमेन्ट कोर्स भनेपछि एकदम त्यो हो कि पपुलर टाइपको अब +2 लेभलमा स्टुडेन्टहरू चाहिँ म्याक्सिमम स्टुडेन्टले चाहिँ धेरैजनाले चाहिँ यो म्यानेजमेन्ट विषय लिने, तर अहिले हाम्रो त्यति स्टुडेन्टले म्यानेजमेन्ट लिइसकेपछि त हाम्रो यो अहिलेको गभर्मेन्टको सिचुएसन चाहिँ अलि राम्रो हुनुपर्ने जस्तो एक्सपेक्टेसन चाहिँ त्यस्तो लिनुपर्ने हो। तर हाम्रो गभर्मेन्ट चाहिँ अहिले लथालिङ्ग छ, छताछुल्ल छ, जहाँ हेरे नि अवस्था नजुक छ, हस्पिटल हेऱ्यो, रोड हेऱ्यो, जहाँ हेरे नि एकदम दुःखदायी छ नि त। त्यसको कारणले चाहिँ हजुरले चाहिँ अब भर्खरको स्टुडेन्ट पनि होइन, अब धेरै अनुभवसँगै अब अहिले अब बिबिए पनि अब सकिन लागेको बेला हो। अनि हजुरले आफ्नो एक्सपिरियन्स त्यसको माथि अब रियालिटी चाहिँ एउटा रेप्युटेड कलेजमा पढ्नु भएको छ होइन, अनि रियालिटी चाहिँ के हो त्यसको बारेमा अलिकति प्रश्न गरिदिनु भयो भने चाहिँ यहाँहरू सबैले चाहिँ म्यानेजमेन्ट चाहिँ धेरैजनाले पढ्ने रहेछ, तर यसको फ्रुट चाहिँ राम्रोसँग किन नपाएको होला भन्ने क्लियर चाहिँ हुन्छ जस्तो लागिरहेछ।
Okay, so thank you so much, and I think it's a really difficult question, right? Yes, of course. We have a lot of students, and you just told, and then you see we have a lot of students. The majority of the students that take management in +2, and then you see he just told and end up with all this this management of all country, right? So I think so for management student, you see as a management student, it's not about just only like following one system, right? So it's really important that you come up with your ideas, come up with creative ideas, and then you get you innovate different things, right? So it's really important, and then that's how different things and new innovations or new things work, right? So we as a management students, so we normally we are not a like a software engineer or something engineer that can build product or things right out of our own skills, right? But then we have to deal with and we have to work with those engineers and we have to work with those all smart guys, right? But then it's very important that we have to collaborate those things together and then set a path, and not only just to copy or like just getting things done with a same thing, but just end up like starting a new thing or just researching the new thing that we have, or the like finding for new possibilities, more opportunities that are not we have never ever seen before here, right? So it's really important. And so there is the part that students, we as a management student, we need to do that, right? And then the other side is that we have you see we have an external environment that affect us, right? So that have to have a very independent environment where we can act, where we can like just get started or what we want to do or what we want to try to achieve, right? And then for that, as a business student, we need to have a big infrastructure. You see, we need to have the advanced technology. Then we need to have good road infrastructures, and these things can create a better way or a better system for us to have attaining our dreams. And just aligning those two dreams, then we can have, or we can have a very clear path to set that directly, right? But then we have, you see, we have a lot of management over here, right? And so I don't really have the correct idea or what you call the correct fact that I can share with all of you why we end up with this mismanagement all over the country, right? But then I have this in my experience, the most important thing is that when you study management, these students, they study management just because they really wanted to study management, but just because they want to pass easily, right? So that is the reason. So I think so. There is the number one reason why these students, get over to like management, and then and in bachelor they come over as a business, and you see we have a very, if you study hard, if you really want to be a bachelor in business administration, or if you want to study a business, then you really need to have a clear exact point that you visualize yourself as where end up, right? So that's really important. And you see, a lot of majority students, they end up in management just because they really want to, pass, get over those things in 2 years, and then I just want my degree, right? And so that's the most important. So that is the main point that you see. And in bachelor, they end up with just starting, and they just commit all over the subjects and all over the course. They finish the course, but they don't end up with creating something new, creating something valuable, or just aligning, just incorporating new things. But they just rely on the same systems, you see. And then we have these same systems, you see, we have this a lot of corruption, and we don't have this transparency, right? And then end up with these same systems with their friends, with their collaborators, with their parents, or maybe their a very near person, right? So that's how this environment influences these students, and we end up with mismanagement of the country. So that's my point, and how I feel as a management student. So we need to be really think, just don't choose your management as you think it is too easy, right? So but you have to believe if it is your path, then you have to visualize yourself. I wanted to be here because I wanted to work there, I wanted to do something, I wanted to make clear things, right? So that's really important, and I think that is the main reason.
Thank you so much. It's indeed a very good explanation. Thank you so much.
And yes,
Seriously.
एकदम
and yes, yes, of course. And yes, you see, we have this, actually management. Yes.
yes.
And actually, you see, here in Nepal, just what I feel is that a lot of friends in +2, right? I studied management, then so a lot of friends, they studied management, right? And then they just end up with, you see, social work, right? And then in different subject fields. So why they try to end up those 2 years as a +2, and then just get over to social work? So that's it's not the exact thing that one should do, or that one should take a decision, right? Because we are old enough to take our more decisions when we just get out of our grade school, right? So it's really important, right? Just so if he or she gonna make to social work, or something at humanities side, then why don't take humanities in +2, right? So that is the important question. And I think because, so when we ask those students why you choose management, because it's a little bit more easy, and we don't have to write a long thing or remember a long thing like in humanities, that we have something so much to study, right? So they don't really want to take those things seriously, right? So they are here in management because not because they really want to be in management, but because they want to get past in management, right? So they really end up in management. And I see a lot of friends, you see, because I want to pursue management because it's easy, there's no chance that I can fail, right? And in bachelor, that's same. Because if I take a bachelor, in bachelor in business, you see, we, we just get our, qualifications, or what you call grade off in different semester wise, right? And then we submit assignments, and on basis of our practical, and then our presentations, and a lot of things like that, right? And then these students, just end up with these are the easiest thing, and we don't have to mark up everything, and we don't have to study the whole night. So this is the part I want to be, right? And then I don't need anything from management, but I just want to pass the degree. So that is the main thing, right? So we have end up with different things. So I think for as a management student, we really need to, get up, right? We really need to work with those smart guys. We really need to work with the government officials who are in laws, those who are in different social sectors, and then we have in different information or like computers sectors and in science sectors, right? And then building these things together and then aligning all those streams and as a professionals or in specialized way, and of course we can attain a better future.
हो ल सो पेमाला एकदम अब एकदम क्लियर गर्नुभयो एकदम खुसी लाग्यो अब तितो यथार्थलाई पनि बुझाउनु भयो अब नेपालमा के छ एउटा भनाइ छ कि छोरी बिग्रेको नर्सले छोरा बिग्रेको कमर्सले भन्छ रे अब त्यही कुरालाई चाहिँ एड्रेस गर्दै उहाँले चाहिँ हाम्रो समाजले चाहिँ धेरै चाहिँ के गर्छ भन्दाखेरि अरूको कपी गर्छ कि अब त्यही कारणले नै बिग्रेको कुरालाई पनि उहाँले नै यथार्थमा ल्याउनु भयो एकदम खुसी लाग्यो जे होस् अनि अहिलेसम्म उहाँले चाहिँ मेन कुरा चाहिँ अरूको लहाइमा नलाप्नु है आफ्नै मनको कुराले सुनेर आफ्नो एमलाई टार्गेट गरेर जानु है भन्ने खालको एउटा लेसन नै लिएर आउनु भएको छ अनि अब म्यानेजमेन्ट के हो त्यसको डिटेल त इङ्ग्लिसमा म त्यति राम्रो छैन उहाँले राम्रो नै गर्नुभएछ मेरो हिसाबले अनि हजुरहरूले सुन्नुभएकै छ हैन अनि अब यतिसम्म डिस्कसन पनि धेरै गर्नुभयो अनि एकदम खुसी लाग्यो उहाँले आफ्नो इम्पोर्टेन्ट समयलाई आफ्नो छुट्टै काम हुँदा हुँदै पनि एउटा इम्पोर्टेन्ट टाइम छुटाएर हाम्रो लागि समय दिनुभयो त्यसको लागि धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद छ अनि टन्डुलजीले आज होस्ट गर्नुभएकोमा एकदम थ्याङ्क यू छ अनि स्टुडेन्टहरु सबैले एटेन्ड गर्नुभएकोमा एकदम धेरै खुसी लाग्यो अनि अब आउँदो अनि आउँदो
म फेरि एउटा लास्टमा एउटा पोइन्ट है
हुन्छ हुन्छ हजुर
लास्टमा एउटा पोइन्ट चाहिँ अनि के अरे जसरी मैले चाहिँ यो अगाडि जुन म्यानेजमेन्ट व्यवस्थापनको बारेमा चाहिँ मैले थोरै त्यसको बारेमा भन्यो हैन तर म्यानेजमेन्ट के हो भनेर चाहिँ मैले प्रश्नसँग पार्न सकेन हैन just because I really want to get interaction with the students and they really have to come up with their opinions and I want to feel those feelings, right? So because when I was at that positions, I feel those things, right? And then you see when I was in class 10, you see I end up with joining a very college that I don't really want to be there, right? And at this situation, you organizers just did a very great opportunities, right? Great opportunities for all of them to clear their doubts, and you see they have to come up with their main thing and they have to come out with different questions, so whether what they feel or not. So it's really important and I want to get really interacted with them. So if they have any further questions or further like doubts and any questions to ask, and please they can contact me and I will be available at that time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, I was saying.
And then
के भन्न चाहनुहुन्छ
Nima, anything to say?
अब त के छैन कन्क्लुड गर्दा हुन्छ थ्यांक यू
ल ल okay, thank you so much Nima ji.